Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina wa Nabiyyina Abil Qasim al-Mustafa Muhammad wa alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin la siyama baqiyatillah fil aradin ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu al-sharif. Allahumma akhrijni min dhulumat al-wahm wa akrimni bi nur al-fahm. اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Continuing our discussion about imama, we need to talk about the necessity of referring to Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. As you remember, we said we can discuss this in two levels. One is that it's permissible to refer to Ahlul Bayt in understanding Islam, in understanding Sunnah of the Prophet, because according to our Sunni brothers, companions of the Prophet are Hujjah, and at least Ahlul Bayt are companions of the Prophet. It's the minimum we can say. But everyone knows that they had a special relation with the Prophet that no companion had. Not only they lived with the Prophet, not only they were brought up by the Prophet, but also they had very outstanding position when it comes to knowledge. If you ask any historian, Muslim or non-Muslim, among Muslims, among followers of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who had greater knowledge? Without any doubt, they say Imam Ali had greater knowledge about Islam and teachings of the Prophet. I don't think you would find any person, even one single scholar, who would say there is someone else who had more knowledge than Imam Ali. You don't find anyone. So, there is no doubt about permissibility of referring to Ahlul Bayt, theoretically. Practically, unfortunately, not always they refer to Ahlul Bayt. Not only they did not give them preference, they not even treated their hadith equal to the hadith of others. Many of the people who compiled collections of hadith. Love for Ahlul Bayt is there, respect for Ahlul Bayt is there, but what happened in Muslim scholarship is not exactly what we expect to be. But the second level is necessity of referring to Ahlul Bayt. It's not just permissible, it's necessary. We cannot deprive ourselves from their teachings and their hadith. Here we mention few reasons. One is hadith of Thaqalain. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam on several occasions, not just once, on several occasions, for example, the day of Arafah in Hajjatul Wada, in last or farewell pilgrimage, he mentioned this. Also on the 18th of Zul Hajj, returning from Hajjatul Wada in Ghadir Khum, he mentioned this. There are different versions, but the concept is the same, because he said it more than once and different people have narrated this. Ya ayyuhan nas inni tarikun fiikumus thaqalain أما إن تمسكتم بهما لن تضلوا كتاب الله وعترتي أهل بيتي. You see, the language is not the language that you have an option. If you like, you can use it, and you would be, for example, forgiven if you make mistake or if they make mistake. No, it's not language of an option. O people, I leave among you two precious, weighty means precious things. And as long as you hold on to them, you will not go astray. The book of God and my household. In another version, he said, وَأَنَا تَارِكٌ فِيكُمُ الثَّقَلَيْنِ مَا إِن تَمَسَّكْتُمْ بِهِمَا لَن تَضِلُّوا بَعْدِي. Especially, you have to remember that this was said towards the end of the life of the Prophet in Hajjatul Wada, day of Arafah and 18th of Zulhijjah. Prophet said this. So this is a kind of clear instruction for what Muslims should do after him. And he says, as long as you hold on to them, you will not go astray. أَحَدُهُمَا أَعْظَمُ مِنَ الْآخَرِ. In this version that you find, which is mentioned by many people, many scholars, including Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, says one of them is greater than the other. This is the book of Allah. حَبْلٌ مَمْدُودٌ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ إِلَى الْأَرْضِ. The rope which has been extended from sky to the earth. Those who attended our classes on the Quran, you remember we talked about Quran being a rope which Allah has sent down to save us and to help us rise. But we said Allah has not sent down this rope by throwing it down. Allah is holding onto one side of the rope and just making the other side available to us. Like we said, if you want to rescue people who are in fire and you go with helicopter and you send a rope or ladder, you don't just throw it. If you throw the rope, then how can they climb? You have to hold onto one side and make the other side go down so that they can climb. Quran is extended to us, but we have to hold on to it and then we have to rise. Iqra warqa. And on the day of judgment, depending on how much you have climbed this, you will be positioned. So, أحدهما أعظم من الآخر. One of them is greater than the other. Kitabullah. This is the one which is greater, which is the rope extended from heaven to the earth. And the second, وعترتي أهل بيتي ولن يفترقا. These two will never separate from each other. In the previous one, it says, as long as you hold on to them, you will not go astray. That also implies that these two should give you the same direction. But this is very explicitly mentioning this fact that these two cannot be separated from each other. Because if there was a chance that Ahlul Bayt could teach you something which is not in compliance with the Quran, then you would not be able to hold on to both of them. If one of them says you have to do this, another says no, you must to do something else. If Ahlul Bayt were going to have any conflict with the Quran, we could not have followed both. That was clear. By implication it was clear. But here, explicitly Rasulullah says, لا يفترقا. They are not going to separate from each other. حتى يرد علي الحوض. Till they come to me near the fountain of Kawthar. فانظروا كيف تخلفوني فيهما. Be careful how you are going to treat them after me. When it comes to the Quran, we don't have good record. And when it comes to Ahlul Bayt also, we don't have good record. I mean, as general, not exceptions. There are exceptions, but general. When it comes to Quran, رَبِّ إِنَّ قَوْمَ اتَّخَذُوا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ مَحْجُورًا. This, my people, they have abandoned the Quran. When it comes to Ahlul Bayt, فَقُتِلَ مَنْ قُتِلْ وَصُبِيَ مَنْ صُبِي وَأُقْصِيَ مَنْ أُقْصِي. No good record of the way that Ummah in general treated Quran and Ahlul Bayt. We didn't follow any of them as a whole adequately. So, this also makes it very clear that we must refer to the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Now, we want to make few points. One point is how to analyze this hadith. You know, we have a very important type of study. We call it fiqhul hadith. Fiqhul hadith means deep understanding of hadith. Sometimes we just read the hadith and maximum we understand the translation, for example, of hadith. But fiqhul hadith is different. We have, for example, few hadith about wudu when you have doubt in breaking your wudu. Zurare, for example, asked Imam alayhi salam, if I doubt whether I had a nap or not. Sometimes, you know, your eyes feel very, you know, heavy, and you close your eye, but you don't know whether you have slept or not. It is called khafqa. He asked about having khafqa or khafqatan. Is it going to break wuzu? And Imam said, as long as if something is moved around you and you understand, this is not considered as sleeping. And then he said, لا تنقض اليقين بالشك. Don't break your certainty with doubt. So if you have the yaqeen that you have wuzu and you doubt whether you broke your wuzu, you assume that wuzu is there. This hadith and other similar hadiths are like one paragraph altogether. But when Sheikh al-Ansari rahmatullah alayh studies this hadith, he has so much of analysis of this hadith that just in Fara'idul Usul he has tens of pages about analyzing this hadith. So this is called fiqhul hadith, deep understanding and analysis of hadith. So let's have a little analysis of hadith al-Thaqalain. What do we understand from this? First of all, we understand, of course, there are many things that maybe still we don't understand, or there are many things that ulama understand and maybe we don't understand. So we are just mentioning a few examples. I'm not saying what we give is an inclusive list. Just few examples. First of all, it shows that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did did think about the condition of Ummah after him. He was concerned about what people are going to do after his demise. And therefore, he practically tried to give them guidance. Inni tarikun fikum ath-thaqalain. I am living with you, means I am going to depart, but I have a solution for you. By leaving two precious things, you can be saved from misguidance. So he had concern. Also, he had concern about performance of Ummah. Not only he had concern about what people should do, he could anticipate that things will not be easy. This is the minimum I can say. There would be problems. And this is why he says, فَانْظُرُوا كَيْفَ تَخْلُفُونِ. Be careful how you are going to treat them after me. Okay? So, this is about his concern for Ummah and also his anticipation of some failed, records. Another thing is that Quran is going to remain. We understand this from the Quran itself, but this hadith also confirms that. Inna nahnu nazzalna adh-dhikr wa inna lahu lahafidhun. We have sent down the Quran. The reminder means, dhikr means Quran. And we are the protector of the Quran. Quran is not going to disappear. إنه لكتاب عزيز لا يأتيه الباطل من بين يديه ولا من خلفه. This book is going to remain and nothing can destroy it. It's Aziz, means nothing can penetrate to defeat it, to break it down. Rasulullah also says, Quran is going to be with you. Because if Quran was, na'udhu billah, going to disappear, to be lost, this hadith then doesn't make sense that you have to refer to the Quran and my Ahlul Bayt, and they will never be separate from each other till they come to me near the fountain of Kawthar. If it was just Quran remaining in the knowledge of God, that was not enough for saving people from misguidance. Quran had to be available. Also, this shows that Ahlul Bayt also should be available. If Quran was going to be there, but Ahlul Bayt were going to not be there, then how can you ask people to hold on to both of them? So Ahlul Bayt also must to be always there. Till end of dunya, we should have Quran and Ahlul Bayt. What remains is commitment, benefiting, practicing what they teach. Then we also understand that Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam would never ever be separated from the Quran. What does it mean? Does it mean that, for example, you would physically find Ahlul Bayt and Quran together? Just, for example, Ahlul Bayt carrying a copy of the Quran? No, of course. It means that their teachings, their lifestyle, their practice would be compatible 100% with the Quran. It would be like two sides of the same coin. It would be like two ropes which are connected and, like interwoven. You cannot separate between them. One is the main one is greater, that is Quran. The other one is like exemplification of the Quran, interpretation of the Quran. Quran needs teacher, Quran needs interpreter, Quran needs someone to bring it to practice. Quran should not remain as theory. When you bring it to practice, then everyone would be loving to follow it. But if it is just remaining as concepts, it doesn't have its maximum power of attraction. Of course, theories are good, but nothing like reality. If I give you, for example, hours of a speech about being kind, it's good, it has attraction, but it would not be like seeing me for a few minutes showing kindness to people. It's different. Plus, theories can be misrepresented, misunderstood, misinterpreted. In the Muslim Ummah, we find sometimes many different interpretations of the Quran. Sometimes sects disagreed, even they excommunicated each other, they did takfir, and everyone is trying to argue from the Quran. They use ayat mutashabih to justify their own position. We need a teacher at each age that would clarify for us what the Quran is teaching and showing it in practice. So this shows infallibility of Ahlul Bayt. If Ahlul Bayt were fallible, if they were subject to mistakes, confusion, forgetfulness, or na'uzu billah, sinning, how could Rasulullah say without any reservation they will never separate from each other, and as long as you hold on to both of them, you will be saved, you will be guided? So it shows that Ahlul Bayt must be ma'soom. From analysis we can understand this. And it shows that no one can say Hasbuna Kitabullah, Book of Allah is sufficient for us. If it was sufficient, Rasulullah should have said, I leave Quran and that's sufficient for you. Also, no one can say Ahlul Bayt without Quran are sufficient for us. We need both. We need to be committed to following both. I can put it in this way. Quran as a book is sufficient, in the sense that we don't need any other book. But if you say Quran is sufficient and you mean Quran doesn't need teacher, you say no. Quran needs teacher. So there are two ways to say, so people may, not say the words properly. If you say Quran is sufficient in the sense that we don't need any other book, any other revelation to come, yes, Quran is sufficient. But if you mean that you are able to have sufficient understanding of the Quran without having an interpreter, no, you are not sufficient. Those who say Hasbuna Kitabullah, they want to say that our understanding of Quran is adequate and we don't need Rasulullah to tell us something or Imams telling us something. Do you understand? So it looks nice, Hasbuna Kitabullah, but indeed means we don't need Sunnah. We don't need any guidance for understanding the Quran. That is the problem. Okay. I made here a few points. The other hadith is hadith of Safina. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in a famous hadith that Sunni Shia have narrated, and here we have given references, says, مثل أهل بيتي مثل سفينة نوح من ركبها نجا ومن تخلف عنها غرق. The example of my household among you is like the ship of Nuh, ala nabiyina wa alihi wa alayhi salam. Whoever embarked Safinat Nuh, the ship of Nuh, was saved, and whoever refused was drowned. We have different versions. For example, another version is مثل أهل بيتي كمثل سفينة نوح من ركبها نجا ومن تعلق بها فاز ومن تخلف عنها غرق. It's very similar, just has extra تعلق بها فاز. The one who has grasped or is holding onto it is successful. This shows that we are going to be tested and tried. There would be challenges that can affect our faith, our understanding. We need something to save us. If Safinatu Nuh was a mercy from Allah to save people of that time, because as you know, Nuh alayhi salam offered people to embark. He also offered his son, Ya bunayya irkab ma'ana, my dear son, come on board with us. He said, I don't need. He said, Sa'avi ila jabalin ya'asimuni min al-ma. He said, I will go on top of a mount, and that mount would save me from water. But he said, La asim al-yawm min amrillah. There is no protector from Allah's affair, which is here, this flood, except those who receive rahmah, mercy from Allah. This safina was rahmah, was a mercy sent to people and animals to be saved. But he said, I don't want. I don't want your mercy. I don't want your help. I don't want your guidance. You're like some people who are in darkness. When you switch on the light, instead of saying thank you, they say, why did you switch on the light? You are hurting me. I want to remain in darkness. Because they are used to darkness. They cannot see benefit of light. What they see from light is just disturbing their darkness. So, the same example is used by Rasulullah to refer to the condition of Ummah after him. So the example of my Ahlul Bayt is the example of Safinatu Nuh. Here we don't have flood, physical flood, but we have flood of ideas, flood of opinions, flood of sects. People need something to save them. So many different mazahib and ideas and theories and interpretations happened after Rasulullah left the Ummah. We need something to save us. The next hadith is hadith of gate of Hitta, Babu Hitta. Example of Safina, Safinatun is from Quran. Rasulullah applied it to the Ahlul Bayt. Again in the Quran we have another concept, and that is Babu Hitta. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وإذ قلنا ادخلوا هذه القرية فكلوا منها حيث شئتم رغدا وادخلوا الباب سجدا وقولوا حطة نغفر لكم خطاياكم وسنزيد المحسنين. Surah Baqarah verse 85. And also in Surah 7 verse 161, وَإِذْ قِيلَ لَهُمُ اسْكُنُوا هَذِهِ الْقَرْيَةَ وَكُلُوا مِنْهَا حَيْثُ شِئْتُمْ وَقُولُوا حِطَّةٌ وَادْخُلُوا الْبَابَ سُجَّدًا نَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ خَطَايَاكُمْ سَنَزِيدُ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. So, in the same way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had instructed Bani Israel to enter that particular gate with humility so that their sins would be forgiven, Rasulullah then said, إنما مثل أهل بيتي فيكم كمثل سفينة روح من ركبها نجا ومن تخلف عنها غرق ومثل باب حطة من دخله نجا ومن لم يدخله هلك. So two things, Safinatu Nuh and also Babu Hitta. Ahlul Bayt are like that gate. If you enter through Ahlul Bayt with humility, you would be saved. But if you refuse to go through this gate, then you would have problem. We have a beautiful hadith that says the example of Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam and the concept of Wilaya and Imama is like a gate for a city. Some people went through this gate. You know, we say, Ana Madinatul Ilmi wa Aliyun Babuha. I am the city of knowledge and Ali is the gate. Some people entered through this gate. Therefore they were given access to the knowledge. Some people went out through this gate. What does it mean? Some people rejected Amirul Mu'mineen. Not just they didn't believe in him, they rejected him. It means that then they used the gate which is supposed to take them in to come out. There were some people that before that they were okay. But when they were tested by giving a gate that after Rasulullah they can use that gate to enter the city of knowledge of Rasulullah, they didn't use that gate, and indeed by rejecting and fighting that gate, they ended with being in a worse situation compared to before. And the third group of people, the hadith says, those who didn't enter and those who didn't come out of that gate. So this is why we believe that it's not that every non-Shia has a problem in the sense that you can consider them as against Ahlul Bayt, against Imam Ali. No, there are many people who don't have their imama, but they are not also against them. Yes, those people who were against them, there were not many, but they are the people who created most of the problems. So, the example of gate. Another thing is hadith which says Ahlul Bayt are like stars. For example, an Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma qal. We have references in the footnote. Like for example, Nayshaburi in Mustadrak al-Sahihain. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, because they don't mention عليه, النجوم أمان لأهل الأرض من الغرق. Stars are protection, safety for people of earth from being drowned. For example, when you travel on sea, stars help you not to be losing your direction and then ending up in nowhere and drowning. وَأَهْلُ بَيْتِي أَمَانٌ لِأُمَّتِي مِنَ الْإِخْتِلَافِ. My Ahlul Bayt, my household, are also safety and protection for my ummah from ikhtilaf, from separation and division. Ikhtilaf, it's better not to be translated as difference. It's better if we translate it as division. Okay? فَإِذَا خَالَفَتْهُمْ خَالَفَتْهَا قَبِيلَةٌ مِنَ الْعَرَبِ. If a tribe of Arabs, a group of Arabs, dispute and reject and disagree with Ahlul Bayt, اختلفوا فصاروا حزب إبليس. They would be divided and become party of Satan. Sunni and Shia have narrated this. So these hadiths, which are sets of hadiths, not just one hadith, each of them has been mentioned in sometimes different versions, on different occasions sometimes. These indicate that we must refer to Ahlul Bayt. It's not just we have an option and you can use them, it's okay, and you can decide not to use them and use something else, and that is also okay. So, as I said before, what should be our strategy in scholarly discussions with our Sunni brothers, scholars, is to tell them first, we should all acknowledge madhab of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam as authentic and justified Islamic school. It's not acceptable that anyone questions, for example, fiqh of Imam Sadiq. This is the first step. Everyone should say that fiqh of Imam Sadiq, mazhab of Ahlul Bayt, it is at least equally valid. Whether you are Sunni or Shia, you can follow the school of Ahlul Bayt. In every Muslim country, they should at least give people chance to act according to the fiqh and teachings of Ahlul Bayt. This is the minimum expectation. But then we should continue our discussion by comparing the teachings of Ahlul Bayt with other teachings and see, is there anything better than what they have taught that make us prefer others over them? Not only we should say it is equally valid and justified, at least you can say the preference is to go to Ahlul Bayt. If you want to go to other mazahib, we don't stop you, but at least go to Ahlul Bayt as recommendation. But these are future steps. But the first thing that we all have to work on that is, in a matter of few decades, this must be established all over Muslim world, that a school of Ahlul Bayt, whether it comes to Aqai'd or Fiqh, is equally valid and justified. This is very little, very, very little, but even if we manage to get universal recognition of this, then no person would dare saying that followers of Ahlul Bayt are misguided or are mushrik, or we can kill them or this and that. If we can at least get this universal recognition, then that is a step forward for saving Ummah from division and for saving Ummah from misguidance, because this is a great sign of misguidance if there is anyone in Ummah that thinks teachings of Ahlul Bayt are not reliable. There can be nothing far from truth and nothing far from the teachings of the Prophet that someone questions the teachings of Ahlul Bayt. Rasulullah says, I leave among you two things to save you from misguidance, and then people say if you follow these two things, you don't deserve to be recognized as a Muslim, and even we can stop you from practicing this, and if we need, even we can, na'udhu billah, kill you or destroy your places of worship and so on and so forth. There can be nothing far from teaching of the Prophet and truth. One quick point to finish. There is a version of Hadith Thaqalain in some Sunni sources. The version that we mentioned is very popular. Sunni Shia have mentioned Kitab Allah wa Itrati. There is another version that you find only in some Sunni sources, no Shia and not all Sunni sources, and that is Kitab Allah wa Sunnati. Instead of saying Kitab Allah wa Itrati, they say Kitab Allah wa Sunnati. When we have something agreed by all Muslims, we should prefer that one to this that is mentioned only in some sources. But I say, suppose Rasulullah said also Kitab Allah wa Sunnati. Okay, no problem. We suppose that he said Kitab Allah wa Sunnati. He also has said Kitab Allah wa Itrati. What does it mean? If Rasulullah has said both, because either he has said only Kitab Allah wa Itrati, or he has said both. You cannot say he has only said Kitab Allah wa Sunnati, because Kitab Allah wa Itrati is documented in many, many sources by all Muslims. It's not sectarian. The one which says Kitab Allah wa Sunnati, I don't want to reject it, but I say, someone may say this is for the interest of one group, or people may say different things, but we say, okay, suppose both of them are okay. When Rasulullah says, I leave two things, and once he says Kitab Allah wa Itrati, another time he says Kitab Allah wa Sunnati, what do you understand? Kitab Allah is the same. So it means that Sunnah and Itra should be the same. In what sense? In the sense that you need to follow my book and Sunnah, but to understand what is my Sunnah, refer to my Ahlul Bayt. Thank you very much. We don't have any problem with this. We say actually the same thing. Of course, we don't attribute this hadith to the Prophet. We don't say Prophet said Kitab Allah wa Sunnati. But conceptually, we don't have problem. Because this is exactly what we do. We say Kitabullah and Sunnah of the Prophet, but as we have been taught by Ahlul Bayt. Because they know better than anyone else who was what was the Sunnah of the Prophet. Okay, we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in these days that we remember also the birth of the Prophet and we celebrate Week of Unity, that inshallah Allah gifts the Ummah with an enlightened understanding of Islam and the Sunnah and legacy of the Prophet, so that we all work for unity. Today, the sign of commitment to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's legacy is how much you work for unity of Ummah. Anyone who doesn't consider unity of Ummah as a priority, let alone do something that divide the Ummah, is not following, the minimum I can say is not following the teaching of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There is nothing more important than bringing unity to the Ummah today. We should add to mutual understanding, love, respect to Ummah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to be a united group of people, that we then can actually go further and extend this unity to all believers in God, to all people of goodwill. But we certainly need to sort out this separation in the Muslim Ummah as a top priority. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We'll now break for Q&A. We can start with the sister side. If anybody has a questions, if they can just raise their hand. Or even the brother side.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Sheikh, in Islamic academia, non-Shia, is it the case that is it the case that the Shia school is still seen as heretical, or is it getting closer to being accepted or moving away in academia, in Islamic academia?
We don't have one standard Islamic academia. So there are different currents. Some are very respectful, but some are unfortunately hostile. They do lots of research, lots of publications, lots of conferences to prove that this is wrong. But this is not common. The majority, unfortunately, are silent about this issue. They have not taken this as an important issue. They don't want to be with this or that. But there have been many people, brave scholars, brave Sunni scholars, that have stressed on this issue. We Shia also have to be more careful, not leaving any chance for anyone to think that we don't follow pure Islam, we don't follow Quran, you know. So we have to avoid anything that can be misunderstood by sincere people. People who are not sincere, they can misunderstand anything. Even if I, say my salat, they can misinterpret me. But if there are sincere Muslims and we do things that they misunderstand, we have to avoid. There are practices, there are things that we say or we do that average Muslim, even if he's sincere, cannot understand easily. And we have to, be careful. I don't want to go details and examples, it takes hours, but this is really a very important strategic point. And I think this is core teachings of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, that their followers should not appear to sincere Muslims from other schools of thought as doing something which is un-Islamic. I'm not saying we do something un-Islamic, but I'm saying we should not be seen by people who have just average information about Islam that we are doing something heretical or something which is, suffering from lack of understanding of Tawheed and so on and so forth. Yes.
Is there questions from the sister's side?
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Excuse my ignorance, but why did Prophet choose to mention on those two particular dates towards his end of life? Why did he not reiterate all the time about the hadith of Sakalain? I mean, then there would be no confusion. I mean, naively I'm thinking anyway.
Thank you. Actually, Rasulullah in many occasions, inshallah, later in the book it comes, many occasions has talked about imamah, successorship, even from the time of Mecca. But towards end of his life, he said it in big gatherings of ummah, because he was, sensing his departure, and he had the responsibility of making this clear. And also that the ayah ya ayyuhar rasul balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik, that on the day of Qadir was revealed. So it has always been there, but towards the end of the life of the Prophet. And Hajjatul Wada was a very good opportunity, because it was last Hajj, and also Muslims not only from Medina or Mecca, from all over Muslim world were there. So he said it in Arafah, which every Muslim was there, and he said it on the day of Qadir, before Muslims who were returning to their home were going to different directions. So this was not the only time, but it was one of the best times, especially because we were approaching the death, the demise of the Prophet.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
In your lecture you mentioned the connection between the Ahlul Bayt and the Quran,
Yes.
and the Ahlul Bayt's role as the interpreters of the Quran, yeah?
Yes.
Which I completely agree with. However, there's an ayah in the Quran which is وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ. Now, the interpretation here is, and we have indeed made the Quran easy to understand and remember. So how do I bring those two together?
To understand is not there. لَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ. We made Quran easy for remembrance, not for understanding.
Okay.
Yes. Plus, I agree Quran is easy to understand. Quran is kitab mubin. Okay? Not that ayah, another place, clear book. But what is clear book? Means it's a book that in itself has mechanism for understanding it. What is the mechanism in this book for understanding it? It comes with teacher. If you avoid teacher, Quran is not easy, and my proof is what? History of Islam. If Quran was easy to understand without teacher, why we have tens of mazahib, and in each mazhab we have tens of branches? So it's easy if you approach it properly, and it's very complicated if you don't approach it properly.
So I think your reply basically highlights the issue of reading an English translation online.
Yeah.
Because here it says understanding and remembrance, but clearly there's no understanding.
Yeah. Dhikr means remembrance.
Remembrance. Thank you.
Yeah. Ah.
Yeah, Ustad, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
Alaikum
barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, it's very nice to see that the attendance has gone up, but I'm going to make a bit of complaint anyway, especially towards this side. Gents, when you come in, please come in time. It's also good, it's better attendance than last week, but come in time and also in greater numbers. So if you have friends at home who came a few weeks ago, tell them to come with you, inshallah.
Yes.
Okay. If sisters can come even though it's raining, and if our Ustad can come when it's raining, so can we as well, inshallah. Okay. Mobile phones, switch them off, please. Okay. And the other thing is regarding signing in. Very, very important. It's very easy. Very easy. As you enter, just press the button, or just do it now during the Barak, inshallah. That is all, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
عليكم السلام. أحسنت.